I'm very pleased to be interviewing Jed Meyer, who's U.S. Research Director for Analect. Thank you for your time today.
Great. Thank you very much for asking me to join you.
So let's start with your background. How did you get to where you are today?
I started off, I was a history major in college, so I didn't exactly expect to end up exactly where I am today. I was at school at Columbia, and Sarah Erickson, who was one of the leaders at Nielsen, was on campus recruiting, and they were recruiting for a management training program. And so I really enjoyed meeting her, and then I went through the process of applying for that program, and I was selected to join the program. And it was a great program. It was a one-year program where you learned everything about what Nielsen does, from statistics to marketing and research analysis. And from that program, I then graduated and went on to work in the local TV station business. I really enjoyed that business. That was right around the time that Nielsen was competing with Arbitron for local TV station and agency clients, and I liked the energy in that area. And not too shortly after I joined that group, Arbitron withdrew from the TV business, and it's kind of funny just to look back now at history, and now Arbitron was just about 2 weeks ago purchased by Nielsen, so everything comes full circle, I guess, at some level. But I really liked working in local broadcast, and from there I was recruited to work in the local cable part of Nielsen, and I managed a small team in Chicago for NHI Local, which was the local cable business. And so that gave me a nice contrast and complement to the broadcast side, because local cable and local broadcast compete vigorously in the marketplace, and I enjoyed kind of understanding what was different about things from a cable perspective. That also gave me my first opportunity to manage people, which I really liked. I had a small team in Chicago, and so I cut my teeth on that. And then a few years after that, my old colleague from the training program, Manish Bhatia, was starting Nielsen Net Ratings. And he asked me to join him and start the sales operation for Nielsen Net Ratings, and I was basically employee number 2 for that JV with Manish and with Net Ratings. And that was great fun, because we had to build the group from the ground up. We had a brand new product. So the dot-com boom was happening. We got to watch the dot-com boom and bust, which I found fascinating. It was pretty painful on the bust side, but it was fun. And then from there, I built up that team, and we had some success in the market, which was good. And I did that for several years, and then I did some product work for Nielsen Net Ratings. And then I said, okay, that was great. I'm kind of ready to go back to the mothership of TV, and went to work back at Nielsen in some projects, some internal projects and whatnot. And about a year after that, I actually rejoined NHI Local, and I led that group, the national sales effort for local cable business. And so we had offices in New York and Chicago and LA, and I managed that group, calling on cable companies all across the country. From there, we then, that kind of role expanded to be, to encompass Digital Plus, which was Nielsen's first efforts to investigate the opportunities for set-top box data. And all during that time, I was reunited with Sarah Erickson, who was the first person who recruited me at Nielsen. And I was working for her, and she asked me to investigate what we could do with set-top box data. And we signed the first agreement for Nielsen with Charter Communications to get their set-top box data and bring it into Nielsen, and then see how we could use it for products and services for our customers. So that was really interesting and dynamic. And that was going great, and then at some point, about a year or 2 into that, I had a conversation with Susan Whiting, and she asked me if I would be interested in moving to China. And I said, okay, well, and now for something completely different. So I moved to China for 2 years. So obviously it took a little bit of time to pull all that together, but talked to my family, and together, the 4 of us, my wife and my 2 kids, moved to China, Shanghai, for 2 years. And that was a fascinating experience, and learned so much, and loved living there in China, and learned a tremendous amount, not only about business, but about myself, about my family, and about the Chinese culture, obviously. So really had a great experience being there, and I was very surprised, but it kind of made sense, and knowing the way Susan and Sarah think about things, it all kind of added up and made sense, that I was able to draw on a lot of lessons I learned, whether it was in Dothan, Alabama, when I was working at NSI, or in Chicago, working for NHI Local, or the Net Ratings experience, all translated into what we did in China, which is we got Nielsen back into the TV business by starting a joint venture with a local company to use set-top box data to create ratings in China. And then from there, I came back after my 2 years was up, and I returned to with Nielsen to be the client leader for Viacom, which was a great client and a really interesting position. But kind of when I came home, I knew that I'd be ready for something different, and I think kind of China opened my eyes to just how broad the landscape was, that I kind of came back with the sense that I didn't know what would be next, but I was excited about it. And so after about a year and a half of being home, I was looking at different opportunities, and the opportunity to join Anelect, which is part of Omnicom Media Group, came up. And I think it was really interesting to me. A lot of people, when I talked to them in the industry about different opportunities, people were surprised when I said I was coming to work at an advertising agency. And I like that surprise, because there's so many great things about working at an agency and the scope of what we do here and all the different pieces of different businesses that we touch. So it's been a great move for me personally and professionally. I really like Omnicom as a company, and Anelect is basically all about data technology and analytics, and so it touches a lot of the stuff that I've been working on in my prior life, and so I'm sure in the next segment we can talk more about Anelect, but it's been a really good move to come over here.
Jed, how many years in total were you at Nielsen?
I was at Nielsen nearly 20 years, which in this day and age is
remarkable.
It was. It's funny. Some of the people I was in the training program with, we joked about it. We didn't go in thinking we'd be there as long as we were there. But my colleague Quattressa was there about 18 years. Manish was there a little over 20 years, and I was there just under 20 years. So just really surprising this day and age.